Yo, what is going on, everybody? We have the finals. It is Team BDS versus G2. This is the World Championships in Rocket League, and this is something that's been heavily requested. I've been trying to get around to doing it, and we're finally actually going to do it. I'm a bit gutted because there's actually an event going on at the moment which has a new Vitality team, which is Exotic, M0nkey M00n, and they're playing exceptional. I really wanted to go over a replay because I watched it live. Well, not live, watched it on YouTube. And unfortunately, I haven't uploaded any of their stuff, which I'm really disappointed about because you'll see the same thing from M0nkey M00n. And essentially, this is what I've always hoped Rocket League would sort of go into. And it's really becoming more and more clear now. Like before, they used to be, oh, he's a good third man, he's a good second man. It's like, well, yeah, but people talk about rotations, so how does that make sense? Because you're rotating in and out of positions. And now we're starting to get into player attributes and how can we use these players effectively to force them into more positions more often, and how they use that position for their style. And really, we see here M0nkey M00n has become a playmaker slash finisher who controls the middle. And that's really important because having a defined role is something that I'm a big believer in. You have it in every sport. Every sport has a defined role. Even if you do have rotation in, which you do in football, you still have a defined role. And it stops confusion. And M0nkey M00n has this defined role. And we're going to start watching this here. And yeah, it was a phenomenal event. Like I said, I wanted to do this. I was so gutted because when M0nkey M00n won, obviously, we're not bandwagoners. I've done over 4 replay analysis on M0nkey M00n. We've had a huge video special on how to play like M0nkey M00n, and before we did the Zen one. And my belief has always been that M0nkey M00n is probably the greatest player of all time, especially in the modern era. And of course, a lot of people say, well, that's Zen, but the problem is Zen, had a phenomenal season. You could almost say one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. You probably, yeah, it was really, but greatest of all time is something that's a sustainable title, Now, I've always said it was Cooks here. I've always loved Cooks here, but really we're talking about, like, if we're talking about accolades, we've got to, in all fairness, it has to be M0nkey M00n, even though I am a massive fan of Cooks and 97. So what we're going to look at today is how can you apply some of these things that M0nkey M00n does to enhance your game. But also, not only that, I feel that a lot of people overlook the subtleties and the advanced fundamentals that M0nkey M00n does, and it's when you see it, you'll understand it, and you'll see how it follows the principles and how, like, you can think outside the box and do better. So we've often say don't dive into corners, and that rule can change for freeze, don't get me wrong, because you've got a last man usually to protect. But it's, well, okay, if we are absolutely going to do that, how can we do it? You know what I mean? And you see here, and we're going to go into this in depth, of course, how brilliant his centralized positioning is. Because M0nkey M00n, I always used to say to Vance, he always used to laugh. Every time M0nkey M00n play, I always say, look how brilliant his middle movement is. And no one ever talks about that. I never hear it in the commentary. People say, oh, he's great. No one ever says how the majority of M0nkey M00n's play, if you actually watch it and go through it, is central. And again, look, he's in the middle of the map. He's going down the center. Okay, but no one seems to pick up on that, and that is massive because it gives him the ability to react, it gives him the ability to place his shots, and it gives the ability for his team to take risks on going outside to in, and also allows pivots and passes. And really, what I loved about this RLCS is I was like, finally, stuff I've been saying for a while, it's not happening. They're looking for passes, they're looking for pivots. And if you don't know what a pass is, it is just hitting the ball to your teammate. And if you don't know what a pivot is, it's passing the ball back. It's sort of almost pivoting around the ball and passing the ball back to your teammate. Something that a couple of the guys coined when we're doing the pacifist system. We have a move called the pacifist pivot. And I believe it is one of the strongest things you can do. And I've always said, in one of the free V3 replay analysis I did over a year ago, you can go and watch it. I said a great play is they pass the ball forward. Player 1 hits the ball to player 2, and then player who's ahead, and player 2 shoots the ball backwards to the third man for a goal. And BDS actually do that in this game, and when I saw that, I said, this is great. Rocket League's getting there. And when I watched the new Vitality team, and I saw what they were doing, I said, this is fantastic, because M0nkey M00n is still playing the role of central presence, and that's how he got one of his goals. But you're now seeing Zen open up his game a bit more, because often he does get stuck in the defensive end, and now he's able to take a few more risks and set up. And there you go. There it is. That's the play. I called this play over a year ago, and actually someone in the comments said that's an unrealistic play. I'll never forget. It's an unrealistic play, and I really believe in that play. I believe that's one of the best plays in the game, and you can also do it in twos. And the reason is because you're pulling the ball away, which does one of two things. It freezes the defender, which gives you time and space for his pass or shot or whatever, or they challenge, which allows you to go instantly to net. And so I'm really glad to start seeing this sort of stuff coming to fruition. And a great bit of shooting here. Really was close. But yeah, did you expect BDS to win? Let me know down below if you thought BDS would win. I had a sneaking suspicion when I saw how well they were playing that they were going to take it. And let me know if you think Vitality are going to be winning pretty much everything now. That being said, though, I'm liking KC. I do believe we've got a few super teams now in European Rocket League. Well, specifically France, I should say. French teams. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, this event that's on at the moment, I can't remember the name of it, you know. It's not coming to my head right now. It's a bit childish. It's a bit weird. They got, for some reason, got a Venom and childish cartoon displays when people score. It ruins it, to be honest. But the play is brilliant. That's a bit unfortunate. We're going to cover a reason why that is unfortunate, because it is a never fundamental. One thing as well, what I love about Rocket League is we're looking at this, right? And people always say, it's all about mechanics. It's all about air rolls, man. It's all about mechanics and air rolls. I say, well, who are the two least mechanical, most fundamental players? Or, well, I wouldn't even say least mechanical, but, you know, who don't probably have the repertoire of moves. And the first one, everyone says, well, M0nkey, he's less fundamental, you know, he's more fundamental and less mechanical. Well, look at that. He's the greatest of all time. And then another fundamental player who is mechanical as well is this guy in the air right now, Beast Mode. And it's no surprise to me that both of those guys were in the finals, because they've got the best fundamentals. And in fact, if you look at players like Daniel as well, another extremely high fundamental player, and to be honest, all these players are so fundamentally sound. They've got the mechanics on top. I mean, if anyone remembers Daniel when he was playing like a bot in the ones games, purposely not air rolling, and now he was still dominating everyone back in the probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. That'll sort of explain what I'm talking about. Let's have a look at this. See what we can learn, see what we can use, and see what we can work towards. Okay, do we need to cover the kickoff? I don't really know, but we will anyway. Hits the ball and flips away. And that's all there is to it. He really, if he wanted to try and win this kickoff, he should have side flipped to the right. But the ball's already moving to the left, so he sort of, I don't know, it almost looks like he delays his dodge. But again, we've said it before, we'll say it again. What M0nkey is better than anyone at doing is matching the middle height of the ball. He seems to have this perfectly. Actually, Tommy does a great job there. But there was a moment in time, about a year ago, M0nkey was by far and away the best at this. I mean, if you look at that spark contact, I mean, it's pretty much perfect. I know he's a bit slower, but that spark contact is bang on middle. I mean, that is why he's called the greatest ever. That is literally perfect center. And what was happening is, even though Atomic gets really central as well, players were actually a little bit behind M0nkey on that, and they weren't getting perfectly central. And because of that, he was winning a lot of kickoffs despite being late. So I feel like M0nkey, I don't know if he realizes, like, if he thinks about the game in depth sometime, if he's ran the percentages, or if he just so happened to be, I would say, like a lucky player, in the sense that if we look at Michael Jordan, the moves that Michael Jordan selected, you know, that his natural playstyle worked perfectly for him. And I feel it's the same with M0nkey. He picked his playstyle and it works perfectly for him. And here's what we call defending from the behind. So M0nkey, to his knowledge, doesn't have a last man right now. There's been a demo. He's just seen it right there. So now he cannot get into the net. He cannot get to the back post. And you'll often notice, you know, people flame when I say, yeah, rotate on the ball, rotate on the ball. But why? Why would you rotate? Because it's more efficient if you need to defend from behind. And if you look at the stuff BDS were known for in the COVID era, where they were rotating on the ball and going up the walls, and that's why they were dominating everyone. Everyone's like, they're so fast. Actually, did you know M0nkey is the slowest player on the pitch by far? And I believe the average speed for this particular replay is 63. Okay, 63% of maximum speed throughout the duration of the game on average. I think that's what it means, okay? So, for example, most, new Poe often gets above 77 speed, okay? And pretty much everyone else in this lobby were in the 70s, 72. Overall, even if you take M0nkey M00n out, BDS were actually a much slower team over the series compared to G2, who are also known as a slow team, believe it or not. And why are they known as a slow team? Because they're positioning well. And if you're positioning effectively, you don't have to move as much. And I think that's where people go wrong. People think if I'm fast, I can cover more. If you're in the right position, you can cover more. I mean, think about it. M0nkey M00n, anyway, on the way back, he's rotated on the ball, so he's very efficient here. He can go up. And essentially, this is what you have to do. If you cannot get into the net, if you cannot get back post, what you have to do in these situations is basically defend it like you're going to take a shot in your own net and then just deflect it to the side. Okay, so perfectly fundamental here. He's now first man. How many of you here, let's be honest, would just dive on this? Would just dive on this. Why? He's already on the backboard. Why? Because he knows he cannot reach it. Now he can go challenge. And this is actually a really smart challenge. He doesn't need to challenge this, but it's not a bad challenge at all. Because if he wins this challenge, they've just relieved pressure. And pressure's a little bit different in freeze. It is a little bit different. I will be honest about that. But what he's done is he has really forced here. Beast mode is at the very top of the map. And M0nkey M00n, most of the time we like to force the ball low because it's so easy to deflect away. And that's good for these kind of heights. But once you get to this kind of height, you actually want to force it high. And there's a very good reason for that. If we make this player jump upwards, they're going to take more time to get off the wall, as opposed to if we make them jump downwards. And also, if you shoot downwards from here, it's actually still quite a high ball. It could be dangerous. If we shoot it high, it gets completely rid of the threat, pretty much, by going above the net. I mean, it's great recovery there from beast mode. So very smart. After a certain height, you'll see that you want to kind of push it up. And if we look at Drali here, he ends up above the ball, which is good as well for 50s. But look at the danger this has, is it actually goes back to G2. Whereas if he would have gone above it, below it, he would have probably lost, but it would have deflected upwards and outwards, which would have allowed a little bit more time because it wouldn't be so direct. So anyway, back to M0nkey M00n. Here, you can do a multitude of things. Obviously, you could go back to back post. You could go to deep net. This is now a very popular position when the ball's on this side. You see a lot of ones players doing it. They sort of wait here. You can deflect. You can basically do this defending from behind skill here. You've got to be careful, and it allows you to challenge out. But you do have to be careful, and you have to be willing to turn away. And that's something a lot of players, this is why I don't really recommend it for a lot of people, because people don't have the discipline as the greatest player of all time. Well, M0nkey M00n's not going to go for that, because he knows he can't win it. And just having that awareness is massive, because most people would be up here trying to miracle play. But he knows he's going to get beat, so he'll turn away into a shadow position and work from there, get some pads, which again is a very overlooked part of people's games. So, of M0nkey M00n's game. So you could do a few things here. Of course, we could go here, but that would probably create a lack of pressure and they would end up a bit too confident. So what he's done is good. He's got to do this. It's almost like a defensive stalking so that he can get into space really quickly if required. But you'll notice he's not throwing himself forward here. As a second man, he's not throwing himself in because, again, Daniel can win. So one of the things we're already seeing from M0nkey M00n compared to most players is if he's not going to win that ball, he's not going to risk it. Because what's the point? So he's going to just try and soak up boost. And you'll see this. He's soaking up a lot of the boost pads here to stop them continuing pressure. Tries a clear. If that was connected properly, that would have been a goal. I think he is actually trying to score this because the net is open and you can send those flying. So it was worth a shot. Bit of a breakdown here. Really good play from Exotic. And again, a simple clear from M0nkey M00n here because he's lost vision of the last man. So he doesn't know where he is. So he shoots it away just in case Atomic is there. And this is a brilliant play. Again, can't win, so comes up the backboard. And here, you don't have time to drive all the way around, but you need to get in front of the ball. Because remember, like we always say, this ball is, we call it the first man, obviously, in duos, but it's the second man's responsibility because he shouldn't have dove in. Second man should not be diving when you're out of position and you don't have possession. So M0nkey M00n knows he's got to go up the backboard and defend this, but he's took a little bit of a wide line, in all honesty, when you look at this. So he's come out here, and that's a bit wider. I feel like he could have come there, but because he's gone wide, what he'll do is he knows he doesn't have time to drive around, so he has to just skip across with a jump And again, what he's looking to do is just block the middle of the ball. Goal side, we call this. So that is between the goal and the net. And he gets the same. I mean, it's just, again, brilliant fundamental play. We call it an inside position when we're teaching players. We always say funnel, funnel, funnel. Ball to the outside in. To the inside out. And the reason we do that is because people learn goal side positioning. And that's basically what it is. It's goal side position. And this is brilliant. So he comes up, doesn't throw the ball away because he wants to try and create something. And he looks for a little 50. Or it looks like he could even get rolled into a flip reset there. Not too sure. And now he's low on boost. So he's going to slowly go back here. Grab some pads. And again, he doesn't spend a lot of time in the red zone if he's inactive. So he's the last man here. It would be crazy for him to do what a lot of people do, especially in Grand Champ and under. Well, they'll come here and they'll just chill for a bit as last man. And what you'll see is M0nkey doesn't do that. He'll come back like he's going to go into the green zone. And then once he realizes Beast Mode's shot isn't central, he'll just move into it. Again, great coverage. And look at this flip cancel. Because he's dove into the corner, he cancels his flip so he can land on his wheels. Super important. Good demo though, Beast Mode. And again here, because he's sort of central, again, I know he's just got demoed. Very easy for him to do something that not many players do at the pro level now. We're talking to do with efficiency here, and potentially, I think a lot of players are doing this. If we look at Daniel, and you should add this to your game because it's fundamental. So if we look at Daniel here, Daniel's nose isn't really facing the ball, but he's kind of like facing where he thinks the ball will go. But the problem is, it's took him too long to do that. Like if he wanted to go, like, you see what I mean? Like now he should be going realistically because he's already got his nose lined up. But I think he's trying too hard to go for an offensive play. And the problem is because he's not able to see M0nkey, he doesn't have this knowledge of where he is. Whereas M0nkey, because he's the position he's got, he can see everyone. Obviously, it was a demo. But you can see what M0nkey does, and watch this really carefully. He'll jump, he'll rotate and face the ball. He knows where the ball's going. He's facing it, right? And he'll jump. Now, watch this. I might go down to 5%. And he's jumped here, and he's doing his double jump. In fact, it's so quick, I missed it. As he jumps, he'll actually rotate. He'll do it later as well, ever so slightly. In one fluid action, let me get darker color. He'll sort of rotate to where he needs to be as he goes up. It's remarkable. So it's not like what most players would consider a fast aerial, but it is because it's an efficient aerial, which makes it fast. So he faces where the ball needs to go. You see how he's still not leaning back yet? So most players will tell you, you've got to lean back before you jump. Well, he's not. He's still not leaning back. He's still not leaning back. He's still not leaning back. Now he's leaning back. Okay? And he is more concerned with facing the ball and then double jump, which is fine because the double jump propels you, and then leans back. And now he's up. And you're probably thinking, why isn't he air rolling? Because he's the greatest player of all time. And he understands that would be mad. Why would he air roll here? What's the point? Now, air rolling comes into this game, and obviously it does to help you move into things. But why would you air roll here? Because it looks good, does it? Because you keep getting told to do it by these interesting people, let's say, okay? And here we go again, he's having a rant, that's what people are thinking. But I am, because I keep telling you, stop working on your blooming air rolls. And then people will say, oh, I thought that 3-hour video was great. 3 hours? You could have worked on your hook shots for 3 hours. Do you know how good you'd be on your hook shots? You would have gone up a rank. What the hell do you mean you watched a video about air rolling for 3 hours? What for? What, do I want to get better? What's better than being the greatest of all time? That's what I'd like to know. And they say, oh, we're stretching ourselves, we're trying to learn, we're trying to develop. Yeah, I get that. But what are you trying to develop? Are you trying to develop what you've been told to develop without questioning it? Yeah, air rolling's good because it can help you get to certain angles. Don't get me wrong, it can help you fake stuff. It can help you fake a flip reset or get a flip reset. But you guys are just air rolling for the sake of air rolling. I hear forced air rolling. Sorry to go on a rant about this, but forced air. Why would you force air rolling? To learn it better. Why? You don't need to force air roll. You go watch any of these players. They're not air rolling the whole time. What the hell? I don't get it. Sometimes I just lose my mind. Like, I mean, for example, Atomic. One of the best players in the world. Look at this. One air roll. One air roll. You go watch these players now. They'd be air rolling all the time. There's so much air rolling. And was it worth air rolling now? I mean, even though he air rolled, was it worth air rolling? He's already facing the right way. He doesn't even need to air roll. I just think people have been air rolling. You know, this started with Gimmick, didn't it? In DreamHack, when they won DreamHack, him and Squishy. It started with that. And it's gone out of control. Anyway, let's get back to this. Sorry again for the rant about air rolling, but I'm pretty much going to do it the whole time because no good player seems to do it too much. Here you go. Right, this is what I'm talking about. So, first of all, look what pad he's on. Unbelievable, isn't it? We always say when you're trying to score, go on to pad 2. He's on pad 2. We write these guides based on statistic. M0nkey is the best player in the world. If he knows he's doing it or not because he's playing at the highest statistical percentage. That's why he's waiting on pad 2. That's why he's doing the thing we keep telling you. Well, I keep telling you in every single video when I'm playing 2s. Wait on pad 2, wait on pad 2. If you're learning, just wait on pad 2. Waits on pad 2, perfect pass. Little air roll there to finish it off. It's a great placement. It's a great placement. But that's why we do it, okay? And M0nkey is almost... I speak to a lot of high-level players, especially when we're doing passive systems. We get the course on, we get, you know, a couple of 2.3, 2.4k players in. Even some pros who had gone play with us. And one of the things I always ask is, who's the best player you played? And this was when Zen was like the big rage. I said, is it Zen? And look at this, by the way. He doesn't flip into the corner. He just double jumps so he can land on his wheels. That's a great recovery. And they said, nah, not Zen. I said, oh, not Zen. You know, because everyone's saying about Zen. Well, we sort of expect him to do, you know, it's obvious what he's doing, they say. We know he's mechanical, but we know what he's doing. I said, well, who's the best player in the world then? They said, by far, it's not even close. It's what every high-level player tells me. Every single one. M0nkey. I said, why? They said, because he plays like a robot. I said, what do you mean? They say he never makes a mistake. He's always in the right spot. And a lot of players say they don't understand it. They cannot understand it because he seems to be everywhere doing everything. You watch the stats, you look at the stats, he's the slowest player. You watch the replay, he's barely doing anything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Goes on to pad 2 again. Ball comes out, Atomic's there. And I loved Atomics, but I mean that these guys played great. I mean, they all did. Everyone did. I mean, you know, professional. Everyone played well. But I love the fact that Atomic was just shooting the ball. It's so underrated in today's game, shooting the ball, because everyone tries to air roll everything. And you can see now, like, everyone's like, whoa, what? People have gotten away from being used to defending good shots, and that was a brilliant shot. Absolutely brilliant. But hopefully already we've got a few things. Central build-up. He doesn't spend much time in the red zone, does he? Central build-up. He rotates a lot of the time on the ball side, all right? But he does wait on pad 2 when he's trying to receive a pass to score. And here's that defensive position again. Now, can you do this? Yes, you can. Like, this is the one that we use in ones a lot again, like we've said. And again, because you can cut off the front post. If they miss, you can move into it. If it gets crossed, you can move. It's a great position. You can also, if it gets passed back, you can defend, you know, like we've said, from behind. I do prefer this for a lot of players. Okay, obviously, here's the advantage of this. M0nkey able to, now Exotic has to cover the backboard. M0nkey able to get a 50 on the ground pinch, which is why he has to do this. At lower levels, I recommend waiting here. You can wait here until quite a high rank, because it would be a similar thing. You'd come here, you'd go into the net here, you'd wait. When you see Atomic on the backboard, as soon as you see Atomic go, Exotic on the backboard, you can actually now come in and take that 50 again, inside to outside. So very similar position that ends up happening. I personally prefer that one for a lot of players. You're working with players, or if you're trying to get into this, because the one M0nkey doing is a lot more mechanically demanding and requires, world-class game sense. And look at this positioning, okay? So he goes out of the red zone into the green zone. The green zone, by the way, is the central zone. I know I've gone over this, but I'm going to quickly go over it. You've got this zone here. Not great, I admit. Okay, we call this the green zone, this central lane. This one is the amber zone, okay? And then this lane across here, the amber zone. Push back a little bit. And then this is the red zone. And we try not to spend much time here, unless we're first man or we're going to make a play. We don't want to spend too much time in the red zone. The red zone's great if we're on the ball and we're trying to set up an angle. Or, like I say, we're first man and we're trying to get close. But as last man, generally I'm not a big fan of that position. And M0nkey again, nice and central, allows him to take shot. Good defending again. And there it is again. He's going to hit this ball and he's going to rotate on the ball. And what he's trying to do is trying to make it awkward, hit it or bump or anything like that to try and put the next man off. The great strategy where a lot of players would come here and they would just start rotating because people rotate just to rotate. And we've said it before, you cannot do this in a higher level because you need a body on the ball to force something out of this guy. If M0nkey not there, Atomic could scoop this up off the wall and start going for something. It's too risky. You have to stay nearby. You have to create unless you are organically rotated. If you got hit into that area. Again, M0nkey trying one of those corner shots. They can be extremely powerful if you get them right. And again, as last man, which is where he puts himself most of the time, moves straight into the center, looking for a finish there. Great stuff. So far, most of his skill has been, he hasn't been dodging a lot, and he's sort of been following up the play. And here again, you know, front flip, very basic stuff. And he's last man. He cannot throw himself in. He's looking here. He's like, I'm not going to throw myself in. I'm going to go into a shadow position. Ends up in the net here. He has to, because what's happened here is because of this great touch by Daniel, he can't wait here because he knows he's going to have terrible vision. And he can't get here to defend. So he has to go into the net. There we go. To come out here and try and defend. And it's a great placement by Atomic. This is absolute brilliant placement. I mean, look at that. Perfect placement. But is it enough? Is it enough? Good boost grab. Here we go again. Down the middle. Tracking down the middle. Won't dive in on that. Not the Champ 2 dream. You won't see the Champ 2 dream out of this guy. He sees he can't get it, so he drives off. A lot of Champ 2s, a lot of Champ 3s, a lot of Grand Champs, so on and so forth. We'll dive into that, hoping for a miracle. Again, nice and central. And here again is the 3-man pivot play, which I am telling you right now is the strongest play in 3s in Rocket League. And this, in a 2s form, is the strongest play in 2s at the moment. And it's quite shocking. So second man again passes up to this first man, you could say. First man shoots it back to last man. Well, who's last man? Well, only the one and only central lane player, Mr. Green Zone himself. The true Mr. Green Zone, I would say, not myself from the series. He's going down the middle from pad 1, goes towards pad 2, and he just feathers his boost and he slams this shot on. It's a brilliant pivot. And this is why pivoting is much better than playing it around the backboard and passing it in field, because it doesn't work as well. It takes too long. It's too unreliable. If you lose a challenge, you're out of position. Whereas if you get one player to push ahead here, and if you do it in 2s, what you could do is if the player's there, you could demo them. If you come here and they start backing off into a shadow, you quickly come above the ball, cut round, and then you shoot at your teammate, who's M0nkey in the middle there, and they can just bonk and do that. And again, you'll notice with this, nice pathing, great boost management, tap, 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 to put it into the net. That's an unsavable shot, in all honesty. And again, it's bot-like movement, isn't it? There's no air rolls there. How many? Gosh, you know what? Not even just champs anymore. It's gone and infected all the lower ranks, hasn't it? This nonsense of air rolling. You still see it on Reddit. How do I air roll? Who cares? Do you want to just get good at the game? If you want to learn how to air roll for fun, great, go for it. But don't start whining about rank, which a lot of people do. That's what gets me. Okay, people say, oh no, I just want to get better. What do you mean better? Well, I want to rank up. Well, then stop air rolling. Okay, if you want to do it for a laugh, if you want to do it for freestyle, knock yourselves out. But if you want to get good at this game, learn to do this as opposed to spinneroonies. All right, you're not Booker T. You're not Booker T. Great pass. And look at that. It's just such a good shot. I love it. Love it. You'd love to see these fundamentals down the middle. His middle build-up, and he's doing it on the new team. That's what I'm saying with Vitality now. He's doing the build-up middle stuff so well. So comes here, okay, looking for the fake, little fake here, little snake fake. If you watch it from Daniel's POV here, where's Daniel? Okay, ready? Watch M0nkey goes from the inside like he's going to do it, and goes for an outside shadow. Little snake, that's fine. Can absolutely outside shadow. We always say to funnel players into the corners at a high level. It's extremely hard to do because players will still take the middle and they will get around you. So we are always trying to funnel them in. And you know, some players are really good at being able to do this. Zen is actually one of them. He's brilliant with his inline defending, and obviously we know Ruaz is. Whereas M0nkey, a little bit more old school in this approach. He will go onto the outside, but he does also know he's got Exotic in the middle. So you'll see that Exotic is actually on the inside shadow, or the inline shadow at this point. Flick from Daniel. I did see him score one of these from the corner the other day, which was pretty crazy, I think, in a twos game. So there you go. It's still not a great percentage shot, but hey, can't blame a guy for trying something unorthodox, especially if 4-1 down. Good boost grab. I'm not a fan of this sort of stuff because there's so many players in the corner and M0nkey still forcing out, and it does just force him to retreat anyway. In my opinion, honestly, here, I am really a big believer in having this player wait here, because now, in this situation, he could also move towards this ball, and if it pinched middle, he can move towards it because there's already 2 players in the middle, and it's forced him to back off anyway. Now imagine if you stayed in net here, disciplined. There's your pinch. You could actually pinch this, poof, to net. All players can do it. So I do think it's a bit excessive, this sort of stuff in the corner. And also, you're going down the path that's already been travelled by a lot of players. So the chance of you being able to actually grab boosts is very low because everyone's going to be going across that path grabbing boost. But again, you know, he's the best player in the world. Suppose you probably want to copy that. But personally, you can see how this, I believe this alone has caused a ton of pressure because they've got no one who gets the ball now because it's so easy now for Daniel to play it back post. And the reason is there's too much displacement here. Had we have waited in the net, which is what we're trying to protect as last man, we'd still have, you know, we'd have a good position here to defend it. But because we're all moving into the same area, there's not enough boost to supply everyone, including our opponent. So now we're trying to move back. Great brains from Daniel to play it to the far post. If one of his team would have spotted this, well, I think they did. That should have been a goal in my opinion. I think it was just off target here. And you'll see, God, he does get the finish. And beast mode just, I mean, that should be a goal. 9 times out of 10 he's scoring that. I really do believe that was because M0nkey did press as third man. And I don't think it was required in this situation personally. And we see a lot of goals scored by that in RLCS, players pushing out as last man into the corner. Brilliant. Again, it's almost like a little pivot, isn't it? So Exotic's coming around as first man. Instead of trying to bring this ball round, because it doesn't work if you try and force it through. That's why I always say 2 moves you want are either come around and demo or get around the ball like this and push it out. We call it a pivot. And what you can do here, it's hard because it's so quick. But that little fake there, what's a really cool thing is in here, instead of driving, you can jump up here and land like this. So you're basically matching atomic, which means the ball hits your car on the side here, which pushes it into the middle. As you drive down, you can then shoot it. So you'd be able to hit this ball to M0nkey much quicker, and he'd have a much better angle on the net. Because you can see here, the angle's gone. So it's just a different way of doing things. I can show you that actually. Yeah, let me show you that right now. Because I mean, that is the last goal. But let me just show you that move I'm talking about. Because it's a really good move, this is. So what he does is like the ball's coming here. And instead of getting ahead of it, he sort of comes around with it like this. And then flips it out like that. Try and set up again. If say the ball's moving like that into the corner, what you can do is you can come and jump up above it like that. And now see that difference. Did you see that? It pops out. So now imagine M0nkey was where he was, right? So I'm here again. It's just a little bit of a way to play the game a bit differently. Come above the ball, touch it there, bang. There it is. You've played it into space and I completely messed up my flip there. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is the pacifist pivot. So as you get really good, you can do all such, because you could come here and you could flip yourself there like that. Now you stopped it and you can blast it to your teammate in the middle. There's loads of things you can do. So yeah, but this is really good. You just come here and they expect, and then you just go bonk. And then look at that, bang. That's a goal. It's so powerful, guys. And no one's using it. You know, the people in the pacifist system know about it, but I think people do forget, you know, to use it. But I can't like, this is such a powerful move, playing the ball backwards. And what will often happen, even if you're slow playing it, right, you come here, often they'll start shadowing. And if they start shadowing, just turn and pass it to your teammate. And then what that does is they'll jab it up. They jab it up and they can look for an air dribble. This is what makes me laugh. Everyone says, oh, there's no mechanic. You can have mechanics if you want. You could air dribble it, you could double touch it, whatever. Or what they can do is they could just jab it. Let's just say they jab it. And they could just go grab boost. And you could just slowly work the opponent down. And then every time, if you end up rotating on the ball, that's why I like rotating on the ball. Say you took a shot, right? And people tell you to rotate this way, right? Nah, nonsense. Rotate on the ball. Maybe you get the demo. Now you're here. Now, what most players do, even SSLs, will turn and just push it into a player. The player's already there. Instead, move it back, right? So boom, demo. Just pass it to your teammate. And you're probably thinking, it's so brilliant. How come no one does that? Because you're all following each other. That's why. No one's waiting to be passed to. So if I'm doing this in game, I can guarantee I do this flip and I'm thinking I'm going to pass this ball. My teammate's right there, right behind me, literally right here. And if I've been, everyone's been programmed to rotate away from the ball. If I do my demo here, guess what? My teammate's picking the ball up in the corner. So my teammate will just come here and just smack it like this. They've just lost everything. If people just waited for passes, you got to sometimes go backwards to go forward, guys. So you're here. Think about it. It's so obvious that we're going to go to net. Now we come above the ball. We touch it in field. Boom. Pass it to our teammate. They now have space and a ball rolling to them. This is the gifted ball. Like, that's what makes Zen so good. Now you've got everything you need. You've got everything you need there. If you can see that, you'll be a hell of a lot better player. So, it's good to see finally BDS did it twice. We see again M0nkey M00n's central presence. And if you want to learn more about M0nkey M00n, who doesn't, right? He's a brilliant player. I actually have a video I made about M0nkey M00n. It's about 12 minutes long, maybe a little bit longer. And it goes over all of his main things that he does differently about everyone else, so that you can sort of follow along and hopefully learn some stuff. But as always, guys, do appreciate it. A couple of people have asked me about the pacifist system. We are doing one second week of November. I'm going to get the videos out soon so that people can see it and get the information out soon. But yeah, it's been quite a busy couple of weeks for me, so I'm really excited to get back into it. Just started coaching again, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, if you want any help, let me know in the Discord. If you want to know more, let me know in the Discord. Oh, by the way, I was going to say, M0nkey M00n did this in the game that was fought. In fact, let me show you. Before I go, there's something you can use here. Okay, I found it. So, what I like about this, so M0nkey M00n goes up for his aerial, and he's adjusting himself. Now, what you can do here is that, so see how he's air rolled there? You're probably thinking, why? Well, what it does is it makes it look like he might be going for a flip reset, a fall-in flip reset. So right here, once he hits this, he does this roll, and what that'll do is for Atomic, it'll make him like question, like, is he going to go for a flip reset? And it's a really good idea to sort of like slow down challenges, because if it's obvious you don't have a flip reset, oftentimes you might get challenged and they'll still be kind of grounded if they flip at the right time while you're falling. So it's a very smart move. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much everyone for watching. Do appreciate the support. Look after yourself and peace out. Peace.